Welcome to the Appetite for Discussion show with your host, Brendan Crouch.
Ooh, a little extra, a little teaser.
Just a little extra.
Just a little extra, a little tip.
I'm a little rusty, man. It's been a while.
It has been a while. Hey, thanks, Julius. Appreciate you and States Vegas Radio for letting us host another episode here of Appetite for Discussion. I have a very special guest with us today, Mr. Jeffery Payne, Dr. Jeffery Payne. Yep. How you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. So before we jump into this thing, you were telling me a story on the way in, which it's kind of crazy. How long ago was it you jumped off a cliff?
We went for my brother-in-law's 50th birthday to Jamaica, and they have this place called Rick's. And I'm not exactly sure how high the cliff is, but it was pretty high. And at that place, people jump out. They have divers underneath in case something bad happens.
Yeah.
It pulled my brother-in-law's shoulder right out of socket, by the way. But it was the craziest thing I ever did. I will not be doing that or eating one of those hot wings. Two things that I've done that I won't do again is eating the hot wings at one of those challenge places or jumping off a cliff, because either one's just a little bit much.
So whatever inspired you, I mean, you're a smart man, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're no schlep, okay? But why the hell would you jump off a cliff?
This is a bar.
Okay, so you were drinking.
Had a few beers.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say, yeah. I don't know. I mean, a couple other people did it, but I'll tell you what. Not many other people did it, because there was probably 500-600 people. You were the hero when you got out of there, I'll tell you that.
Oh, yeah.
You jump off and come up, and the whole way up, people are high-fiving you. But it was his 50th birthday. He did it, so my nephew did it, so I said, I'm going to do it.
You're not going to outdo Jeff.
No,
you're jumping,
I
baby.
tried it. Yeah, it was crazy.
I can assure you that's something I will never do. I can't swim very well. I don't like heights. I am safe right here. I will high five you when you get back.
The weird thing about it is I'm not much for heights myself. I really don't like them. And it was. I went up to the edge and I'm asking the guy how to do it, and he says, "I said I got to plug my nose." He says, "No, don't do it. And I shouldn't have, because it sort of rips your elbow right up off your shoulder when you hit so hard.
That's a good point,
you know?
right?
But yeah, I didn't get any water up my nose. I was okay.
It was up your ass. That's where the water went.
Yeah, probably.
Gave yourself a little.
Yeah, it was a little. There was people going in crooked there. There was people coming up bloody. They going crooked to get off.
It sounds like this was higher than 10 or 15 feet.
No, it wasn't 10 or 15 feet. It was probably, I don't know, 50, 50. Yeah.
Julius, would you ever jump off a 50-foot cliff? What's chasing you?
I bungee jumped out of a hot air balloon one time.
Yep,
300
not
feet
doing that either.
Above the Mojave Desert.
Wow.
Nope. Why?
I don't know.
Was it a bet?
Actually, my girlfriend at the time wanted to go bungee jumping for her birthday.
The things we do for love.
Yeah, you had to know it to be for a woman, right?
Yeah.
And of course, I was the first one they called off the list to go up. First one of the day, which, thinking, oh no, the equipment's not been tested. And of course, I get up in the balloon, and there's 100 people down below looking. And they're counting down 3, 2, 1, and I'm thinking, my God, what have I done?
So what?
But I did it. Yeah.
So right before you jumped off the cliff, what went through your mind? Do you remember?
No. I mean, what I remember as soon as I get off, when I got off the ledge, because I just stepped. I didn't jump. Because I saw the guys jumping. When you jump out, you go crooked. And they're trying to hold themselves straight. Yeah. And it's way too long for you to hold yourself straight unless you just sort of... But it feels like you go out and you're up there for a millisecond, and then all of a sudden it's like you're flushed down a toilet. I mean, all of a sudden you're going fast. And when you hit that water, you better be straight, because your toes have to hit first. Your feet have to hit first. Otherwise... What you said about up the ass is definitely a possibility.
Definitely a possibility.
Yeah, no doubt. I'll tell you what, though. Just recently, they got that big roller coaster, the Fury, down in Charlotte. I'm sure a lot more people have done that. It's not as scary as that. However, I was standing in line, and I'm thinking, I'm about 50 years old with my little boy here, and I'm thinking I might be one of the oldest people here. I'm thinking I might have a heart attack or something on this thing.
Sure.
I love that. I would do that thing. I've done it tons of times since. That's one of the best rides because it's so smooth. And being a chiropractor, it's nice not to have your neck ruined,
Yeah, no kidding.
But
how far of a drop is that?
32 stories.
So that's like 330
feet. 330 feet.
I think I would do that.
Fury 33.5 or something. So they think it's 330 feet.
I would do it. I think I would do that.
It's awesome.
Yeah?
It's awesome. And then how fast you go after that? Have you done that, Jules?
Motion sickness. Well, I can't.
It does. You won't get motion sickness.
Really? So quick.
You're just going straight. Yeah, you're going. Yeah, you're going straight. But the thing is, you're in a chair, sort of like an upright chair, like this.
Yeah.
You're not in one of those low down things. So you come out over the edge, and you're like looking down. It's It's intense.
Like my stomach is already coming up in my throat just listening and watching. I'm like,
it's awesome.
I've never puked, but I do like roller coasters. I like being scared. Yeah. Like I like that moment of that oh shit moment. I really like it. But I also like it because I think I'm safe. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like jumping off this hot air balloon bungee thing, going off Rick's Point there in Jamaica. I'm not doing that. Have you ever jumped out of an airplane?
No, I have not.
Have you done that? No. Yeah, I'm not.
I would like to.
I'm not doing that.
No.
I'm good. My brother did it. I'm not doing that.
I'm not doing that. So you do have some sense. See that?
Yes,
Told you were a smart guy.
Exactly. Some sense.
Another interesting thing you were telling me about before were the parking lot. So you used to pave parking lots, or you did parking lots growing up?
We started with a 55-gallon drum, and on the way through college, that's what we do. We take a bunch of blacktop sealer, and up north in Buffalo, where I'm from, you have to seal your blacktop, sort of like painting a building. You can't just leave it like that out there. But it looks great when you do it, but it also holds the moisture from getting down into the blacktop so it doesn't freeze and crack it. Otherwise, it'll ruin after a few years. So we'd go to a neighborhood with a 55-gallon drum and dip our buckets in there and dump it out and squeegee it around, and did pretty good during the day. We'd go house to house and go get some more if we needed to, and we'd go to the next house and say we're here and we'll do it. So
you're not Irish, are you?
Excuse me?
I'm joking.
He said, "Are you
bad
Irish?"
Joke. You're not Irish, are you?
I am Irish.
Then it's perfect. So, so you're originally from Buffalo, New York?
Yes, sir.
And then, this was something you did before the winter through school to earn extra money? During the summer,
yeah.
So you just go around to people's house and like, hey, we're here, we're fixing in like potholes or just cracks?
No, it was sealer.
Sealer,
the liquid stuff that you squeegee around. We did it with squeegees. So they spray it now, which isn't as good. Okay. You wanted to put a squeegee on there because it'll put a nice thick coating on. Spraying sort of like putting it wears off real quick.
I got
That's what they do down here a lot, and it doesn't last. I just redid my driveway. You're my neighbor, so you can come over and look at it.
I'm going to take a look.
Yeah, take a look. On the way home, I'll show you. But we started with 55-gallon drum. We were dipping buckets in there, and that was tough. We ended up getting a 250-gallon tank, and we went out and bought a cheap pickup truck and put a PVC pipe in there. That way we'd lay beads. We were doing most of the funeral homes, quite a few funeral homes in Buffalo.
Oh, wow.
Like chains of them. And then we were doing supermarkets. I mean, we did the ones that we did. We'd have to do it at nighttime under lights, but we would do supermarkets as big as the Bilo parking lot.
Really?
Yeah. So it got pretty big. But then we started putting in driveways and doing patches and stuff like that. But that's a whole different thing. See, the difference, sealer's like a paint. Patching and stuff is like, tar.
Right.
The stuff that like asphalt that you see. So
that's more involved.
A little bit more involved, but it worked out great.
I have to ask, I have to interrupt because this is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. A funeral home in Buffalo, New York called Am I Gone?
It's actually where my mom had her funeral. Yeah.
I swear.
That's the chain. That's one of the chains we did. Yes, Am I Gone funeral
home. Am I Gone funeral home.
Yeah,
it's like one like Am I Gone. And when I saw it, I actually took a picture of it and posted it. I was like, "Is this real? Am I
really?" He really has been everywhere. He does been everywhere. He really has because that's the big joke in Buffalo. That is a big joke.
Is it? Because I saw it and I was like, "Is this a joke?" I was looking around to see if it was like somebody had put
We did that chain. We did a bunch of those. We did quite a few.
Sorry to interrupt. I just had to ask. Am I Gone? The Am I Gone funeral home in Buffalo, New York is real.
Where my mom was laid.
Wow.
So is that their name or
Am I Gone?
That was
just a joke?
That's an Italian name.
Am I Gone? It's like one word, but when you look at it, it's like when I first saw it, I thought, "Am I Gone?" And it was funeral home, and I was like, "Wait a minute, is that real?"
Well, it's interesting too how people's names and businesses, like for example, you're a chiropractor, but your name's Dr. Payne.
Yeah, that's
right. So I'm sure you've heard that a million times.
Oh gosh, yeah.
There's another great oncologist in town. Her last name is Grimm, Ruby. You go see the cancer doctor. But I work with a guy out in Austin, Texas, and he's a urologist, okay? And his name's Richard Chop. Dick Chop. So he is actually, he actually made, I think, Jimmy Fallon or The Kimmel. Yeah, because they were going through they do these funny names or whatnot, and they found the
Jay
urologist.
Leno used to do that.
Maybe it was Leno, but somebody read his name, Dick Chop, and how hilarious.
My father was a dentist. It's a little tougher. Mine I can sort of play no pain, no gain on. My father was a dentist. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But we made T-shirts. We started right out with it. I had to own it right off the bat. You can't just try and skate around that. I mean, whatever. We got mugs, pens, T-shirts. I'll get you guys a couple T-shirts.
Yeah, absolutely. So what led you to the chiropractic field?
Hurt my back.
You hurt your back.
I was in pre-med
Yeah.
And I played hockey at the University of Buffalo.
Okay.
We were down at Penn State. I played goalie. We were in a tight game, and this guy tried to take me out behind the net and hit me real hard in the back, and it ruptured a disc.
Oh, really?
And so I was putting myself through school, so I really couldn't afford to do a bunch of medicine and stuff like that.
Sure.
And it didn't work anyways, the stuff I had. So I went to a chiropractor, and they helped me out. So I started looking into it, and because I was into medical school, they gave me a half-price scholarship. So I went out to Chicago to chiropractic school.
And what was the name of the school you went to?
National College of Chiropractic.
National College of Chiropractic. Mm-hmm. So you shifted and went over there. And what's the difference between, say, you were going down the traditional med school path,
yeah,
right, and then you switched over to chiropractic. What's the big difference between the two?
The difference in the pre stuff is pretty much none.
None.
You know, the prerequisites and stuff. Once you get into school, we do a whole lot more anatomy. We'll spend a year dissecting a body. We do a lot more muscle stuff, muscle work, natural stuff. We don't do anything because we don't prescribe drugs. Right. So you don't do any pharmacology and that kind of stuff. Although we still do the organic chemistry and all the chemistries. So the pharmacology would be the big, the drugs. That would be the big difference.
Now you guys obviously don't do any like surgery rotations, do you?
Oh no,
nothing like that.
No.
So you do a lot of like anatomy and manipulation, I guess. Like,
yeah.
How does one when you're in school? How does one learn how to? Is it called spinal manipulation?
Yeah.
Look, I don't know.
Adjustments.
So if I misspeak, please correct me because
fine.
I'm
no problem.
I'll be all over the place. But adjustment, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And so how does that work? You take an X-ray beforehand. You get an image.
You take X-rays. When you first go to school, you the 8th trimester. So there's trimesters, 10 trimesters, 3 a year. Right?
Imagine if that was the way with pregnancy.
5. Yeah. It's a 5-year program if you take summers off, but if you don't, it's 3 years, 8 months. You can go straight through.
Okay.
Not many people can make it straight through. Not many people did, but I did that because I just wanted to get done. But when you first come in, you go into the clinic and get X-rayed and examination by the 8th trimester students, by the people in clinic.
Okay.
So they'll do that and adjust you, and then you start. First, you're a year in of doing anatomy, physiology, muscle work, and that kind of thing, and then they start teaching you how to adjust. And you just start on each other. But since you have, they want to say there's a big myth out there that chiropractic's dangerous and this and that. Well, nobody's ever had problems at the schools that do the X-rays and all that because they do the X-rays and they check people out and it's safe as far as you're doing that. And we're talking about people learning it, not professionals that have been doing it 26 years like I have, so it's very safe. It's very easy. It's not easy letting somebody do that to you at the first, you and your buddy are just trying to figure out what to do, right. and you're a little sore, but
yeah. So now come here, Jeff. Let me hold your neck. Yeah, it's just like this.
One of the craziest things to learn how to do, though, they do rudimentary things like general practitioner stuff, like drawing blood, examination stuff, because sometimes, like in Alaska or some outlying territories, the chiropractor would be the only doctor there, so they'd have to do more stuff. You'd have to be certified to do that. And learning how to draw the blood was funny because a buddy of mine, he told me, I'm a little scared of this, and I went to tie his arm up where you expose the vein and such, and I turned around. I went to put the apparatus together, and it's a big needle. Yeah. I turned around, and he had fainted, fell right off the chair. He's down the ground. I'm like, what? But people get a little antsy about that.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
First day in anatomy class where they bring out the dead bodies is a little creepy, too.
Oh, I'm sure.
So you start out with a dead body in the fall, and a year later, you've got nothing left.
Really?
You go all the way down through.
So how do they preserve the body?
Formaldehyde, and it smells.
Yeah, I can remember a cat in school.
Oh, yeah. Just like that.
6 weeks of that putting the old kibble and bits back in that bag.
And I'll tell you something. All the anatomy professors, the formaldehyde, I think it does affect brains a little bit.
It has to, right?
A little bit wacky.
A little bit wacky.
No two ways about it. Definitely.
Yes.
What was the most difficult part about when you were dissecting the body? Or actually, what was the most interesting part about that? If you can remember. The differences?
We had 8 bodies in there, so there was 4 on each. Well, no, 5 on each maybe. So you had to go around and look at each one of them because you were going to take a test on tagged structures in each one, and it was different pretty much all the way through. You know what I mean? Yeah. It looked different. Each one, it looked different. You had big people, small people, heavy people, skinny people, people that died of cancer, whatever.
Oh,
and
wow.
things just look different in each person. You know, it's not like you see in the book. You can't study anatomy out of a book.
Right.
You know, it just doesn't work like that. But,
Man, I don't know if I want to have my body donated or not. You know, the youngsters of Jeffrey coming up are going to be digging around and slicing me open.
yeah,
Or learning.
That's a thought. However,
You got to learn.
yeah,
You're
it is
dead.
what
do
it
you
is.
care?
I mean, you want to be respectful, but there's definitely a joke or two made. There's always going to be. You
Well,
know, I
you
mean,
know.
it's just how it is. You get the first day in, you're nervous as your day is long about all of it.
Right.
And then as you go, you're eating your lunch, you're drinking your coffee. It's no big deal.
Sure.
It's not an issue. You know,
If you're in the medical field at all and you don't have a sense of humor, you're not going to last.
yeah,
You know,
exactly right.
You know, having 8 years in the emergency department, if you couldn't laugh at yourself or, you know, try to make light of the situation sometimes, obviously you're a professional. But the minute I'm out of that room, man, you can sure there's a wisecrack coming or something. If not, you crack up.
Yes.
You know, I was one that I always did a fairly decent job of separating. When I clocked out, whatever bad shit happened in there or horrible things that would keep other people up at night, washed it right off.
It's the only way you can do it.
No, or you wouldn't make it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
when I did leave the emergency department, I didn't realize how burnt out I was until I went back to visit. And I was like, it was almost like a sick feeling, if that makes sense. Of like, oh my God,
Yeah,
how
that's
did I do
different
that?
though. That's a stress. I mean, I have those stresses some days with certain people, but that's different. You know, mine's pretty cool. Mine's an awesome job. I mean, people come in with headaches that they've had forever, and they've been diagnosed with migraines. They say you can't fix them, and we fix them, and it's awesome. I mean, it is awesome. Their life changes. I mean, literally, everything changes about what was going on with them because they every day had to wake up. I had a guy that used to be a maintenance guy, or the head guy for one of the hospitals taking care of all the stuff, and he would have to take 4 days off a month, every single month, and be in a dark room with a headache, and there's nothing they could do. Within 2 months of him coming in to see me, I said, well, we'll get that fixed. He said, well, I've seen every doctor. I've been here. I said, we do this all the time. No headaches. He doesn't have headaches now. He was fine working until he retired. He's been done awesome.
So what was it about the adjustment that helped him or in those situations?
Most headaches are tension headaches. Migraine headaches are very, very rare. It's rare as epilepsy. Migraine headaches are a whole lot like epilepsy because it all happens inside the head. Mm-hmm. Most headaches are because the neck's not moving right. Because people sleep on their stomach is the number one. Because they're looking down at a phone, they're texting, they're on the whatever. You know, their neck's just not moving right.
Just bad body mechanics. Okay.
Car accidents are big. You know, sports injuries. Excuse me. So what'll happen is the upper two cervical joints or the upper cervical joints don't move right. If you reach behind your head, you can find a nerve right at the base of your skull. You push on that, and you'll feel it go right up and behind your eye. Well, that's what causes most headaches. And what happens is when that's not moving right, it swells up. That swelling puts pressure on the nerve, and boom. So what you have to do is go in there, figure out that that's what it is, first off, with x-ray, and make sure that there's nothing else going on, and then get that joint moving again. That's not easy, though. The body's been protecting that. Doesn't matter if it's right or wrong. The body wants habits, right? People try to keep on smoking, even though it's the worst thing they ever did.
Absolutely.
Same thing with headaches. The body wants to be in that habit of being in that spasm. So what you have to do is break it. That's where the repetition comes in. People think chiropractic is like, a bone's out and a bone's in, and we're going to knock it. And it's just nonsense. Yeah. The bottom line is joints won't move right, and they get in the habit of bad biomechanics. And then what you do is teach the biomechanics, teach the body to go through proper biomechanics again. And once they learn that, they want to do that. That's what the DNA says. It wants it properly moving, but it takes a little while to teach it still.
But so you're just reteaching the body.
Yeah. It's like that's what we do in any level, in a low back injury, but in headaches especially.
Yeah, it's funny.
And then you got to get rid of the reasons why they're having them too. Can't keep sleeping on the stomach, Right.
So if I got, it's funny you say it because if I get a headache like a bad one, that spot right there, man, I can press on it. It's almost like there's relief into the eye. Oh man. Yep. I just want to drive a pick through it. Yeah. I'll be damned.
That's what it's from.
So there?
That's what it's from.
I learned something. That's what the show's about. Listen, laugh, and learn. So have you ever had a patient come in and you look at their x-ray and you're like, oh, you've got a major problem. Like, we can't fix here.
Just last week.
Get out of here.
Just last week, I had somebody come in and I had to refer them. I just saw some things in the film, and Oh, I've had it before where years ago I had this older fella. He'd been to the hospital a couple times. They've been doing enemas on him. He had low back pain. It wasn't letting up. But when you've done, I've got probably almost 20,000 patients. When you've done as many exams and those kind of things as we've done, you get the idea that you feel or know exactly what it is.
Yep.
And what things should feel like when there's a biomechanical thing wrong.
Yeah.
And if it's not right, it feels like that pretty quickly. This dude, nothing that would be normally right in his low back was right. I took a picture, x-ray, of his low back, and here he has a 6 or 8 centimeter abdominal aneurysm. So I sent him over to the hospital, and the doctors called me up and said, hey, thanks a lot, that's awesome, this and that. Now,
dude, that's
time,
major.
Yeah, well, it saved his life. And they didn't know what it was, or they hadn't taken the films, I'm not sure why, but whatever, that happens. The bad one was when a lady came in that was a patient of mine forever, and she came in and had the same kind of thing. Her legs were turning black. And I sent her, and some medical doctors are really cool. A lot of them now, way more of them now. But this particular one was wanting to sort of show how smart he was, and he wasn't going to listen to me, that she should need to go to the hospital right away. And this was an older lady that believed him. And I said, ma'am, you got to go. You got to go to Baptist right now. Your legs are turning colors. This is bad. We saw the big aneurysm on there. Because, again, I'd been treating this lady for years, and it just was different.
Right. It
was just different. Yeah, it was still back pain, and she thought it was the same, but it wasn't the same. So that lady ended up, he said, oh, you can just wait. Oh, we did this or this. She ended up having to have, she almost died. They had to cut off part of her surgery on part of her leg and this and that, and it ended up rupturing, and her feet turned black, and she was in a home for like 6 or 8 months. Meanwhile, they would have taken that right out that day. She didn't get treatment for about 3 weeks after that. Whereas the other guy, boom, he's fine. He went right over there. So sometimes you'll find that. And last week we found one in somebody's neck that was a little bit off, and it just wasn't right.
So now, have they always, well, I don't know if this is, I should paint with such a broad brush, but I'll try. Do most chiropractors offer imaging in their office?
I think
they probably
maybe
should.
50-50.
Okay,
You'd
50.
like them to, and people like it, and it's there's a lot of good things about it. Mm-hmm. There's especially now. Our X-ray machine got hit by lightning last fall, so we've got a brand new one. It's awesome. My daughter broke her finger. We went down to North Carolina, and the guy goes, "Hey, those pictures are better than the ones we got here." I mean, what they can do with small stuff with technology now is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And it was half the price of what it was when I bought the thing 12 years ago. But the thing is that X-rays let us know. I would have maybe not been quite as solid with the guy last week.
Yep.
I would have with those aneurysms because they just wouldn't have gotten better, and the pain is severe. The guy last week, you sort of had to find it. But you want to know what's going on in there, number one, as a doctor, and number two, we take the time with everybody, sit them down in front of the pictures, and show them exactly what's up. Show them why they're having their problems, show them what we're going to do, put out a treatment plan, and then they make their decision. I don't tell them they have to do that. If they want to come in less or they want to come in once in a while, that's okay. We're still there. We don't yell at them. They can do whatever they want, but we give them an education. A report of findings is what we call it right there. So the x-rays are really a good tool so they can say, that's me. I mean, I have them all the time. We give them a disc if they want to take home. They can take pictures of it so they can show their family. They can bring their family in, and I'll show them the report of findings, So they really help. I wouldn't have it without them. I wouldn't do it.
And you graduated chiropractic school how many years ago?
1993. How many years ago was that?
26 years ago?
26 years ago,
wow.
Yeah.
Damn. Good for you. Have you, even today, most of the doctors that I work with, and we talk about chiropractic, they try to poo-poo on it a little bit.
Sometimes.
Do you see that from 1993 to 2019 has gotten better, or has it gotten worse?
Gotten better. It's definitely gotten better, but whatever. Doctors is a lot, and sometimes chiropractors have big egos. That's not what life's too short for that. Right. I don't worry about them. If somebody comes in and says, I don't believe in this, the guys who helped start me out, I had some fellows that helped me and sort of guided me to start out when I first started. He goes, the best thing in the world is just say next. And we are more than busy helping the people that want our help, that can help, that we can help. and it's awesome. It's a great job. If I sat there and thought about the negatives of this person or that, the ones that do work with us are great. And there's a lot of them now that do. And what we do is we make sure, even if we don't work with that person, we ask for the general practitioner or any doctors are seeing, and we send an update of everything we've done, the x-ray findings, the report of findings, all that stuff to them. So that's gotten us a whole lot more in, I guess, with doctors. But I did manipulation under anesthesia when the first year I was here, back in 93, 94, with some of the local pain doctors.
Really?
Where they'd knock them out and I'd maybe adjust their neck or their shoulder that was so locked up. And
that's interesting.
So that really helps.
So they got to see kind of you in action and what you could really do.
We did it together. I would do it. They would knock them out.
Right.
And I would adjust them while they were knocked out.
Wow.
I had to go and get certified in that.
Really?
Yeah.
It's interesting. I didn't even know that was a real thing. So
that's for people that are really in bad shape. I mean,
really?
I don't usually have to knock people out.
Obviously. Right. So they're at the hospital or outpatient surgery under local anesthesia?
Yeah, outpatient.
Outpatient. Yeah. Not intubated, but probably just mild sedation.
Yep.
And you go in and manipulate them. Man.
Yep.
Who knew?
Crazy. Yeah.
It's interesting too because some doctors, MDs they graduate medical school, they do more. They graduate as DOs, right? And the difference between an MD and a DO, and correct me if I'm wrong, the DO spends more time with it's not body manipulation, but maybe body mechanics. Yeah,
I guess I'm not that up on exactly what they do. I think they do prescribe medicines also.
Oh yeah, no, they do. They're full.
And they
board certified
also
and all that good stuff.
They maybe do manipulations once in a while. We're really pretty much all I do is adjustments. I'll do wrists, hands. We'll have people that think they're going to have knee surgery or carpal tunnel surgery, and we'll fix it.
Right.
We would just fix it. So that's nice. It makes it easy. It's fun. And that's nice when they've been a bunch of different places. But it's the concentration of what we do. We do it all day long, every day. Like I said, we saw, I think 82 people yesterday or something like that.
82 people. That's 82 adjustments. Like you have to be sore.
Nah, you stay in shape. You got to exercise. It's sort of nice, so it keeps you exercising. If you stay strong, you can do it. We do it with physical manipulation too. I don't do it with any tables or gimmicks or anything like that.
So when you say tables and gimmicks, has the game changed since 1993?
Yeah, in my opinion, some of the stuff they've got is, they'll do it with these tools that
the
are
trigger
supposed to,
or something, right?
The Pro adjuster or something, and really that's to just take the pressure where the person doesn't have to actually adjust and to take the pressure off. Some people like that. That's fine. Mm-hmm. But mine is manipulation.
Yeah.
It will lighten up. I had a 96-year-old guy in there the other day, and we lightened up obviously a whole lot on him, right?
Sure.
But then and regular folks that really need it, that come in, we get after it. We move what needs to be moved.
A dear friend of mine, he's actually been on the podcast too, Dr. Chris Diorio. He's a DO, and a lot of our other buddies we hang out with are MDs, and every now and then they'll kind of razz him about that. It's like, oh yeah, he did that witchcraft 6-month thing, whatever. And it was manipulation and more about I think it was body mechanics that he did and like an extra something with, but he's definitely someone who believes Western medicine has its purpose, but he also runs a natural weight loss clinic, and he believes chiropractic is helpful, and you can take natural things that help, and you don't always have to prescribe certain medications. And I've seen a shift that I think the medical field is definitely lightened up on, as stringent as it used to be, because it was only this way. You go to the doctor, you prescribe the medicines, you do this, and you always do what your doctor says because your doctor knows best. Well, now people, they go get that second opinion, or maybe they're not going to take that opioid, or maybe they're going to try, yoga first, or maybe they're going to go to a chiropractor, or they're going to take over-the-counter supplements. So I think people are becoming a bit more open to kind of weaving in Western medicine and Eastern medicine to figure out what works best for them. Have you seen that as well, or?
Well, it's sort of, yes, definitely, but it's sort of the whole thing. I'm not sure it's changed that much. There's always been certain doctors that come to see me. Some of my best friends are medical doctors. They come in to see me, and they got no problem with it. And the small-mindedness, again, is ego. A lot of doctors, a lot of people have ego. They want to think whatever they're doing is the best thing ever, and they're the smartest ever, and this and that, whatever. We don't have much of that at my place, and I wouldn't have that. We're going to do the best for that person. If somebody's choosing us, I'm honored that they're coming in to see me.
Sure.
If they come in and I don't have the answer or I don't have what's going to be best for them, I don't have any problem saying go over here or go over there. It's too bad that other people wouldn't have the same idea. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And that is getting less, but the idea to think that I went to this school or that school when most of what you're doing is just handing out drugs to people and guessing and then having them come back in and figure which one sounds more witchcrafty when you're figuring out and diagnosing and diagnosing the area of the pain and then fixing it with your hands and that person feels better on the way out, or whether you're giving them drugs, they're coming back a week later and saying, did that work? No. Okay, well, here's a different one. I don't know.
Cause more problems
and a lot of doctors aren't like that. I'm not trying to say that all doctors are like that. I'm not trying to say that at all. But the idea that you'd have some kind of big, huge ego chip on your shoulder because you can do that is just ridiculous to me.
Being someone who works with surgeons on a daily basis,
it's weird.
People have chips.
And that's very strange, and it's sort of a miserable life. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Because I don't care how good that surgeon is. I don't care who they are, what they do. There's always somebody better. There's always somebody with more money. There's always somebody with a bigger boat. Sorry, pal. I mean, cut it out.
It's true, right? There is somebody with a bigger boat.
Mm-hmm.
Damn it. Speaking of, do you own a boat?
Yes.
You do. So is it true that they say the two best days of owning a boat is the day you buy it and the day you sell it?
Well, not with me. I bought my boat when I put myself through school, like I told you, in about 1994, 95. My brother-in-law and I decided to go to a boat show, and I bought a boat, and it was a bayliner, right, like a cabin cruiser kind of boat, and we loved it. My wife now and Katie and I, we were dating at the time. We'd go out on the lake. We had a great time. You could sleep on the bed in there. It was awesome, you know, and we used it a lot. Then the kids came. We got a pool in the backyard. And you're just not going to take a kid and change diapers and do all that on that boat. So we hardly used it at all. It sat around for a while. And then I said, the kids are getting old. Well, let's put the boat back in the water. We put the boat back in the water, and this guy had done all this work on it, and I guess it dry rotted the thing, and it sank.
What?
So that one I got rid of, right? Now, this is an awesome insurance
Well, it got rid of
story.
itself for you.
Yeah, down again. So they said, no, we're going to total this thing. So I don't know. This was 8 years ago, 7 years ago, something like that. So the thing was... And they said, okay, we'll give you, I don't know, whatever they were going to give me for the boat. I said, that's fine. Then the person, to their credit, calls me back up and says, hey, by the way, you got replacement value on that boat. I said, what does that mean? They said, I think they're going to give me $12,000. They said, we're going to give you $32,000 if you go and use it to buy a new boat. You can see, show us that you bought a boat. So how long do I have to buy a boat? They said, 3 years. I said, well, I'll wait till February where everybody's getting really sick of paying for their boat and buy a boat. So I did.
There you go.
And I love my boat. So I don't know. The only boat I've ever gotten rid of is that one that sank, and it was an awesome deal. I mean, thank goodness. What about insurance being cool about telling me, too? I mean, that was good.
That never happens.
Yeah.
Insurance is going, hey, by the way, there's a loophole. Whoever your insurance agent was Mr. Incredible. Remember when he lost, he couldn't do the superhero shit anymore and became an insurance agent? He's telling by the loopholes.
Yeah.
I digress. Our twins watch The Incredibles. So it's a not always playing loop in my head.
Well, we're loving that boat. That new boat's awesome. So I haven't had that experience yet. Yeah, exactly. It's awesome.
So when you're not, seeing 80, 90 to 100 patients a day, what do you do for fun?
Not this year much, but I do golf. We go up to the mountains a good bit. We went down, like we were talking about, went down to the beach and do some traveling like that. We have a place up in Blown Rock. We were just up there last week. But just chase around kids. I mean, I find myself at a lot of lacrosse games. My son got into lacrosse, which I love because it's sort of like hockey that I played.
Well, that is right.
So he's doing that a lot. I got one at Carolina. My daughter is at Carolina, going to be a junior, and then my son's going to be a freshman at App State this year.
Okay, nice. So you're going to be up there. You're close.
We got season tickets. Yeah, we got season tickets to the football game, so we're going to go to some of those.
That'll be fun. It's not a far drive either. Plus, you got your place up there, so
it's
he's
awesome.
not far. You
Yes.
can keep an eye on him.
Yeah. He's growing up. He's going to have to keep an eye on himself. It's time, right?
Out of the house.
That's right.
So you guys are going to have an empty house.
No. We've got
one
an eighth
more,
grader.
right?
Yeah, the 8th grader. Davis, the lacrosse player, is eighth. He's going into 8th grade at Northview, IB.
So being a chiropractor and having a son playing in competitive traveling lacrosse too, right? So he's playing all the time.
Well, They do give them the summer off pretty much with that. He plays all the way till June. He played, but then after that, he's had a couple months off, and they don't start again till October. So that's nice. They play some in fall. Fall is a slow season.
Okay.
They do play tournaments and practice every week, but they don't go nuts. And then in spring is when it's busy. Spring, February all the way through, or January all the way through, when it starts, till June.
And being a smart man and a dad, what we know now about concussions and CTE, does that bother you with lacrosse? Him playing? No, not at all. I've had like 8 concussions. I was the youngest of 3 brothers. You've had
My
8,
opinion on that's a little different.
Okay.
I don't think I know. I've been knocked out cold at least 6 times because they would put me in goalie. We played hockey, and we'd skate on the rink. We did, sledding outside and where there's trees around. I hit my head a lot. Plus, just in playing hockey, I played college hockey. I got knocked out a couple times doing that.
Really? Like when you say like lights go out
Out cold, where they're giving smelling salts to you, waking you up, saying, "Coach says you got to stay in." This is the '80s. They didn't pull you out of the game; you stayed in there. But whatever. But the thing is, my opinion on that stuff is a little bit different than most opinions, especially I got a degree in neurology and have a background in neurology, and you just got to look at who has the concussions. I don't mean to be disparaging to any of these folks.
Sure.
But who has the concussions? Number one, who gets hit in the head a lot? Number two, and who has CTE, or what they call CTE. CTE is a changing in the brain, right? Mm-hmm. It's a changing of the structure of the brain. There's one drug that's pretty popular with a whole lot of these folks that they just fail to mention in any of these studies that would change brain, change bone structure, change genital tissue, change hair follicles, change just about everything. And we know that it does. Yep. It also changes moods. And that's steroids. Mm-hmm. But if it was ever brought out that steroids were the reason for this, everybody would say, well, that's to blame the athlete. So they want to blame the man. So the bottom line is, yeah, it's not good to get hit in the head a whole bunch.
Right.
But that's not where this stuff comes from.
It's more complicated. Right?
Yes,
it's a multi-layered
much more
issue.
Complicated. Think about it.
No, it's true.
If it was just getting hit in the head with padding on, wouldn't boxers have the most...
Well, that's
CTE?
what I was going to say. How does every boxer, look at Manny Pacquiao. The guy's 41 years old. He just had his 70th professional fight. That's not including sparring.
And sparring, you're getting hit in the head all day, every day.
Right.
You never see a boxer with CTE. And everybody says Muhammad Ali. That was Parkinson's syndrome, and he had some brain difficulty, and that happens.
Sure.
Right? But for boxers, most of the time you don't. Where do you see it? You don't see it in hockey in the regular hockey players. The only place you see it in hockey is the fighters. Well, the regular hockey players have to be lean and mean, and taking steroids would not make you faster or quicker or your hands better, right? Boxers, you got to be quick. You got to be moving. It is not going to help you if you're taking steroids, correct? Football players, just about everything about football, steroids are going to help you because they're gross movements, fast movements, explosive movements. It's going to build those muscles. So football players have been taking it forever. That's what CTE is in football, no doubt.
I think another reason that athletes, like football players, probably take steroids or human growth hormone is for recovery. Because they're in, several dozen car crashes every Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
And then they got to be ready to play in 5 days later, on Thursday or on Saturday and then Sundays. So, you're making a couple $1 million. You have a short lifetime career-wise to make that earning potential. So you're going to do what you have to do to suit up to go out there and play, because if you don't, there's some young stud who's waiting to take your position.
And there's a lot of money and just follow the money. There's a lot of money in them getting back on the field, and there's a lot of money in figuring out how to mask it. They said the same thing about, let's say, Lance Armstrong. Oh, he's not taking drugs. And I defended him before he got caught. Hey, they got the most stringent things you'd ever see there. But, I defended the guy. But once you get caught, you get caught. You're cheating. You know what I mean? And you're doing that stuff. Well, they're doing it in football all the time. Every single day you have them getting suspended for 4 games or whatever, and they're still doing it. What do you think they were doing it when it was totally legal?
I mean, like Lyle Alzado.
Look at baseball. Yeah, that's what he died of. There's no two ways about it, and that was the extreme case of CTE. You can see it in their brows. What steroids do is they make the brow prognatic. It makes the brow more accentuated, lays down
like
bone.
Like Magnum, man.
You can see the change in their face, like in Mark McGwire or Sammy Sosa or those guys. Now, granted,
Barry Bonds,
those guys never got caught. No, and baseball did not make steroids illegal.
Correct.
So as far as Barry Bonds not being in the Hall of Fame, all those guys, baseball never made it illegal.
It's illegal.
Tom Brady's just fine, right? He's cheated twice, been caught cheating, and things that he's done.
Has he really?
Yeah.
He's failed 2 drug tests?
No, not with that. He cheated by deflating the balls. He cheated
that's right.
They cheated by stealing they cheated by stealing the other team's
Look,
signals.
if you're not cheating, you're not trying.
Oh, well.
Right.
I guess. But that's pretty big cheating, getting fined $500,000 and cheating on something that directly affects.
But they've never taken away those Super Bowl rings either.
No. I know. There's the difference, right? They took away Reggie Bush's college Heisman Trophy. They took down all this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Because he took a few bucks. Yeah.
Right.
Because he took a few dollars. That didn't make any difference in the game.
But don't you think like Lyle Alzado and these guys who have the pronounced brow and stuff like that, those are more fall into your category of steroid abuse as opposed to, say, your moderate, needing it for repair or recovery type.
Well,
because
these kids are doing it, they're not doing it under the supervision of a doctor. So what do you think they're going to do? They're 20-some years old. They're workout crazy. They're wanting to get faster. They're wanting to be stronger. They're wanting to beat that guy across from them. And they're very, very competitive, the most competitive people in the world. You think they're going to be moderate on this?
No, not at all. No,
almost none of them will.
But I think if like, especially you see now with hormone and testosterone replacement therapy in guys who are 50, 60 years old, there are good benefits from it as long as you use it, I believe, under a doctor's care and in moderation.
What you're going to see, what's interesting is next week, we're having a company out of Charlotte, Dynamic Health, and they've done the most in the Southeast of stem cells.
Yeah.
They pull the stem cells out of the adipose tissue, they pull it out of the bone. Right? They spin it and then they put it into joints, knee, ankle, whatever, damaged joints. And those joints then don't use those stem cells. That actually stimulates stem cells, the joint to produce its own. And what you're going to see is that kind of treatment for recovery, like what you're talking about. They'll develop that treatment that'll repair tissue, and that should be totally legal. There should be no problem with anybody doing that. That is not something it's not so much performance enhancing, it's just bringing these people back up. I agree with your point there. Steroids is very difficult to have an amount that you're going to give them. It's not. There's always a trade-off. Even somebody taking a prednisone pack, there's a trade-off.
Sure.
I mean, even somebody taking a shot into a joint because they're having a bunch of swelling, it damages that tissue, and they can only take 3 in a year in their lifetime.
Right.
I mean, there's a reason why. There's always a trade-off with steroids because steroids is sort of like taking a car when they used to put the afterburner in a car and you'd press a button and it'd burn out the engine and it'd make it go real fast for a little while. That's what it's like. I mean, it overdoes, it overcooks. It's tough to drip it in there. You know what I mean? That's the problem.
I think as we move forward, and I think I think steroids have less of a stigma now that it seems to be more readily prescribed, since they are realizing that low testosterone in men lead to all these other things like diabetes, decrease in bone density, depression. So as the men get older, if they keep their hormone levels in check, if they go up to the doctor like they should, and I've talked to several physicians about this who try to manage it, if they keep them within a normal range, not a super high, not a super low, but a nice normal range, their quality of life is better.
There's your key. Normal range.
Normal range,
what
right.
They used to do, and the reason why breast cancer and uterine cancer and all that went out of control with women is because they did the same. They didn't watch the range back in the old days. That's why they stopped estrogen replacement therapy. Because Topamax, the treatment for breast cancer is Topamax. Topamax blocks estrogen receptors.
Right.
They were pumping all these women with the same amount of estrogen that what a 25-year-old woman would have at 50 years old. Well, that's what caused everything they said they were treating.
Right.
Yeah. Cancer, high blood pressure, strokes, heart attack. I mean, it was causing all of that because they were not regulating it.
Dude, you just rattled off every infomercial about a pill on television. May cause A, B, C, D. Would it not scare you to death to take a pill?
Well, what's scary about that is, and you were just talking about hormone replacement in men, because they finally did a study, said, oh, these people had a 600 more percent chance of having cancer because these women, because they're on estrogen replacement therapy. So then once they sort of said, we're just not going to do that much anymore, and they do not, right? They rarely do it. So what happened was they started doing the men's one, and they were doing that way too much, and there would be a men's commercial for testosterone replacement therapy, and then there'd be a lawyer commercial right after saying, if you got cancer, testicular cancer, because it's going to affect sexual organs.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Right? And if you have cancer is real simple. Everybody's got cancer in their body all the time.
That's right.
It's just a balance between your immune system and the division of cells. There's always bad cells getting divided, but if your immune system gets to it before it develops into a ball where it can't get in there to get at it, it'll kill it. Right? Certain things will throw the balance over to the division side, which hormones can. So the key to what you're saying for anybody out there that's thinking about taking any kind of hormones for any reason with replacement or whatever is that normal range, not for a 20-year-old,
right,
but for a 50-year-old.
Right, exactly.
That's the deal.
Exactly.
And age makes a difference. You're not made at 50 to have the same amount of testosterone as you have at 20.
Correct.
At all.
You know, what do you think it is, too, that we're starting to see more of, just in your opinion, drop? Is it because in testosterone in males in their 30s and, me, 40? Do you think it's just because they're testing more for it now, or is there something environmental causing that?
Diet.
You think
I'd
it's diet?
say it's diet, yeah. People eat more processed foods. People are fast on the run eating processed foods. There's not much nutrition in most of that food.
No.
I mean, a lot of processed foods just don't have much, and it's just easy to get into that. And diet with, if you have proper nutrition, your body's going to produce just about everything. It'll work the way it should. Those people start taking really good multivitamins, maybe some green superfood, something like that, which really isn't a multivitamin. It's, an absorbable, in an absorbable form. They'd see it remedy, and they'd feel so much better way quicker than taking most anything. Most people do when I get them doing it. But that's tough to do.
I want to back up a second to the stem cell stuff. Now, have you started doing that at your place yet, or you're
we
incorporating
don't do it at our
it?
place. We do the examination and sort of send people, and then they have an office there where they'll do braces, they'll do trigger point shots, and that they rented an office in our office.
Okay.
But then what they go down to, because it's a surgical procedure, they need a surgical suite for that. So they do it down in Charlotte.
They do know it down
but
in
it's
Charlotte.
awesome. It's incredible. It helps people's knees, or whatever. I mean, their knees are like new. You know what I mean? Like better. And they realize how bad life is when their knees are bad. So these people are more apt to, and this is what we stress because we do the rehab part.
Yep.
We stress, hey, change your lifestyle. Start exercising. Start stretching. Start eating a little better. Start taking care of yourself. Drop that weight that's putting the extra pressure on your knees, and you know what? Things change.
Sure. So it's really a multifaceted process to where you do the chiropractic, they're doing the stem cell, but it's also accountability of a diet and exercise, stretching.
Yes.
And that's the hard part.
It's not going to work if they don't.
Well, see, you can do your part, and the stem cell person can do their part, but if the patient goes home and doesn't do their part, it's kind of a waste of time.
I got to tell you,
right?
I do talk about them like that. I tell them this. I say, listen, you're spending, a few $1,000s out of your pocket because insurance doesn't cover you. Once they figure out how good it is, they will cover it because it's going to save them from having knee replacements.
This is the stem cell stuff, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because
it'll be covered soon.
Because insurance actually covers what you do.
Oh, yeah, sometimes. Yeah, most times. Yeah, Medicare and all that stuff does. Some insurance does. Some insurance doesn't. A lot of times with copays, the insurance copay is more than what we charge for an adjustment. We charge $45. So the insurance copay is higher, so whatever.
Right.
It is what it is. But insurance, once they figure out, if they're not, over the next couple of years, they're going to figure out, hey, do we want to pay $60,000, $80,000 for a knee replacement, or do we want to pay $5,000 to have them have stem cell treatment, which I think both knees you can get done for $5,000. So
both.
And when these people have to pay this out of their own pocket, one of the stipulations for me having that service in our office and us referring them was to say, I'm going to spend a couple minutes at least telling them, hey, and they can do it or not, like you say. I don't ever get mad at somebody. They come back in and need it again in 5 years, whatever. They're fine. We'll take care of them. But listen, you're spending this money. Change your lifestyle. Take care of business. Realize what it was that got you in this horrible place. Write it down. Because one of the things that people do about really quickly is they forget about pain.
Oh, absolutely.
Very quickly. Women especially, because otherwise we wouldn't have had more than one baby back in the old days, right?
That's
so
true.
The thing is, they forget about pain. So I tell them, write it down so you know what state you're in here. And once you start doing a little bit better, continue your lifestyle that's going to keep it like that, because this is miserable.
So it's almost like they're taking a journal of their treatment,
I
treatment
tell them,
journal.
yeah, with that, yes, because they'll forget.
Of course,
and
yeah.
And then they'll hop back into that same old whatever they're doing. Hey, my knees
We
are
love
good.
a habit
and then
and
they'll
routine.
wear out again, and they'll wear out quicker this time. They're older, they're heavier. Than they were. It took a long time for the first time, but goodness, the joints get really good.
Yeah.
You know, they get where they're not painful anymore, where people are having a lot of pain. You know.
So, would a patient of yours ever want to come in here who's been through your process and went down to Charlotte and had the stem cells? Would they ever want to come back and do almost like a patient testimonial and talk about their experience?
Oh yeah.
And how much better they feel?
We have some of that we're going to do. Oh yeah, we do that all the time. Yeah.
All right, you have to come back and bring them.
Yeah.
Because I'd love to hear about it. It's very interesting.
It is interesting. It's Dr. Alzheimer's Dynamic Health down in Charlotte.
Okay.
And they do have a bunch of stuff on the internet where they have testimonials and stuff, and we'll have some up soon.
Where at is he located in Charlotte? Do you know?
Tryon.
Okay.
Tryon. It's inside Dr. Peter Cox's chiropractic office.
Okay.
He's real cutting edge with all that stuff, mixing medical and chiropractic clinics.
Now, are you the only chiropractor here in town that is working with these guys in stem cells, or are there others?
I don't know that anybody else does anything with it, but we're the only ones that work with that clinic.
I gotcha. Okay. And since being in Statesville, when you first came here, how many chiropractors were there in town? Do you remember?
About 5 or 6.
Damn, really that many? How many are here now?
Probably about the same. 4 or 5. 5.
Have they all been the same, or have some kind of come in?
No,
and come
when
out?
I first moved, Dr. Ball was here, and he passed away a few years after I. There was one that moved in and then moved out after just a couple years. But Dr. Binder's still here.
Yeah.
Drew Spick is up the way. Dr. Adams down in Troutman. Dr. Finley.
Isn't there like a Blankenship or
Blankenships
are
right?
Out on
out farther out this road. And
McGrew or McGraw.
Dr. McGrew's still here. Yeah.
So there's several of you guys.
I'm missing somebody. Yeah.
I don't know.
I hope not.
Full disclosure, I've only seen you, so I don't know. I think you've seen most of my family. I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My immediate family and my family I married into. And it helps them. I think that, in my own personal opinion, I think chiropractics is a thing that can definitely help if someone's suffering an injury or having some pain or some discomfort. When I went and saw you, I was so guarded with my neck. Oh, I was so nervous, about having my cervical spine adjusted.
People are.
Oh, well, I mean, the horror story in my mind is like, oh my God, I'm gonna come in here, I'm gonna have my neck broken. So I can't not think about that. I couldn't relax.
Well, it's also evolution. Your ancestors didn't make through evolution letting people grab onto their neck and twist it, right?
That's a good point.
So you sort of protect your neck, and especially when it's injured.
Right. Oh,
So it takes a little while to get over that, and that's the process. Well, I mean, as it gets better, and as people realize that it doesn't hurt, they get relaxed, and then they sit and see more better.
Is there how many chiropractic schools do you know that are around the country?
Probably about 8 or 10.
8 or 10? Okay.
More popping up. My nephew actually is going down in Florida, right near Daytona Beach, to one that's fairly new.
Okay. There's a big one, right? What's the guy's? It's after the founder chiropractor. Palmer. Is it DDS Palmer?
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
Palmer, yeah.
Man, I drew that one way back in the archive.
BJ and...
Okay. But you went to school in Chicago, right? What was it like living in Chicago?
Oh, we were in the suburbs. It was nice.
Yeah?
It was nice, yeah. It was really nice. It was cold, though. It was one of the coldest. I mean, because all the
colder
weather
than
comes
Buffalo?
across it. But way cold. Buffalo has a lake right to the west of it. That's where all the snow comes. But everything has to go over the lake, all the weather. And the lake, before it freezes, is 34 degrees.
Yeah.
So it's going to warm up there. It also keeps it cool in the summer. Chicago is hot in the summer and cold in the winter because it's all the plains over there. And anything, you making anything warmer, it was cold.
He said it was cold.
Hot. It was hotter, I think. It seemed hotter than here for sure.
No way.
They'd have power outages in Chicago. There would be people dying.
Are you serious?
Back in the 90s, yes.
Man, I feel like you can fry an egg on the pavement here. It's so damn hot. Just sweat. You wake up in the morning, you walk outside, you're sweating. It's like, why am I sweating?
Yeah.
We were in Jamaica last week. You wake up in the morning, you walk outside, you're going to go eat breakfast. You're like, why am I sweating?
Yeah, that's
it's like
rough.
we were sitting on the sun. We went to dinner. Funny story. Everybody, you get You shower, you get ready. We're going to go eat. Our final meal was at this like Japanese, like a Kobe type place where they're eating, Japanese stir fry or whatever, and they're cooking it up there for you. It was like 90 degrees at 8 o'clock, right? So we're just all just sitting there like melting on ourselves with this big fire right here in front of us. And then so we're sitting there having our drinks and we're eating and we're all just like melting. And then they pass around, the sauce that you put. Well, what we thought was a ginger sauce, right? Oh, no mine. No sauce.
Spicy.
I think the roof of my mouth started peeling. It was so damn hot. But so now you have, it's 90 degrees and humid. You have a fire pit in front of your face, and now your mouth is on fire. Like, we were all in gastric distress by the time we left that thing. It was like, so last night, everybody going to bed? Yep, see you in the morning. Who's got the Tums? But it's interesting, too, that there's so many people, that reminds me, that are from Buffalo, New York here. It seems like you guys are shooting down here. We had Joe Bondi on from Red Buffalo. He, too, is from Buffalo. He's from Buffalo.
He's a good guy. Yep.
Yeah, he's a super cool dude.
Great guy, yeah.
And if anybody hasn't checked out the Red Buffalo yet, you should definitely do so. But no, super cool guy and interesting. He too lived in Chicago for a little while, I believe.
I didn't know that.
In the food industry.
Yeah.
He's. I think.
Well, a lot of people move out of there. The people are great. I mean, Buffalo. People think when you say you're from New York, you're from this, from New York City.
Right.
New York City was 7 hours away from where I lived. It's 8.5 hours from where I lived to here. So that's pretty weird, but it's true, right? It seems strange, right?
Wait a minute, say that again.
New York State is big.
Right.
It's a long way. 7 hours from New York, from East Aurora, New York to New York City. But about 8.5, maybe 9 if you drive from
if you drove
East Aurora, because I was south of Buffalo, from here to East Aurora, yeah.
Wow.
So it's more of a rural area. The town I grew up in was much smaller than this. Farming, a lot of New York's actually one of the second behind Wisconsin, the second biggest dairy state in the country. No one would
know that. Guess that.
My grandfather and uncle were both dairy farmers, but the people in Western New York, which is a long ways away from, are more Midwestern, so they're very similar to here.
I'll be in Rochester
so it made me
on
really
Sunday.
Comfortable. Yeah.
For a few days.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I noticed that Rochester, that was a different, people were a bit more relaxed, a little more laid back, a little bit more welcoming and inviting.
Yeah, no, it's not New York City.
No, and I'll be there the second half of the week, right there in the middle.
That's about an hour and a half, 2 hours east of where I'm from.
Okay. So you grew up, that's fascinating. You grew up with a farming family up in New York, and your dad was a dentist.
My dad was a dentist. My mom was from a farming family.
So did you do any farming as a kid?
Yeah. Some.
He said,
a little bit.
It's hard work, right?
You did the hail bit, yeah. Scratches your legs. The first day they got shorts, they sort of laugh at you. Then you wear long pants from then on.
Well, no wonder you're a chiropractor from throwing those 70-pound hay bales, 8 stacks high.
They were not easy I wasn't exactly a big, huge guy.
Yeah, tell me about it. So if anyone out there is looking for information about to get in touch with you, how can they find you?
Just call us, 704-838-0990. Payne Chiropractic Center's on the internet. Okay. Facebook, we have a Facebook page. We're on Google. You can read our reviews or whatever. We get some pretty good reviews, which is nice of folks, and I appreciate all of them.
And you actually shoot some videos at times about body mechanics and how to properly shovel the driveway, right?
Yeah, hopefully I'm going to have a little more time here. I'm going to start doing that a little more often, I hope. We'll see. Because I like those.
One of the biggest takeaways from being a patient of yours was putting the 1 foot forward when you're like shoveling or bending over at the hips.
Yep.
Every day, I don't know who made the sink at my office, but they were not conscientious of the short-armed, short-legged fellow. So you have to bend over, and someone has, back discomfort constantly. It's just a bad position. So I'm always I'm straddled in there, man, and trying to get, oh, man. But I'm like, who designed this thing?
I heard a rumor one time years ago that one of the number one reasons for or ways people hurt their back is brushing their teeth. Is that true? Yeah.
Well,
that they bend
I'm
over
not
to
sure
brush
that's
their
the
teeth
way
and
it's
stand up too.
that
It
exactly.
causes a lot of back injury.
Bending improperly is the way that you hurt your low back. One of the other things for men is putting a wall in the back pocket.
Yeah.
Card carrying, money clip, put it in the front. People say, "Well, I put it in the yeah, good for you. There you go.
Pocket.
I put it in the glove box." But then they're always going to put it in the back, and they say, "I don't sit much. 10 minutes a day is 3,650 minutes a year." You know, so.
And that's a lot of time when you add that up over. You started carrying a wallet at what age? 12, 15, 16 years old?
Things are crooked.
And things are crooked. Now, you're also, not with the chiropractic stuff, I mean, you're also involved with the local sharing tree too, right?
Yeah, I started a few years ago. I started local sharing tree to help. I was telling you the story. We had med spa. And I had a med spa. We used Groupon. And I thought Groupon was okay. But Groupon, as far as a business is concerned, brought in a lot of people that were really just interested in saving, like bargain hunters, which is fine. That's fine. But you also want to have other folks. You know what I mean? You want to have. And so what I thought was you could use this kind of situation if you gave money back. And that's what, local sharing tree, or what we call keep on giving coupons, or the coupons. So somebody buys a coupon and keep on giving coupons gives a donation to the school or nonprofit of their choice. So they pick who they want to give it to, if it's their school or whatever they want to do. And you save money, so it saves money at local businesses. So it also draws business into local business because we help craft the deal or the coupon with them to make sure that they're not getting beat up too much. Okay. So everybody wins.
Okay. So if someone had a coupon for Payne Chiropractic, so if you're on locals and they have a coupon for what?
Right now, like a new patient is awesome. They can get like $200 worth of treatment for, I think, $30 or something.
Wow.
Right? Yeah.
It's like $170 worth of savings.
They get one set of exams and an adjustment, an exam for, or one set of x-rays, an adjustment, an exam for, I think, $30 or something like that.
And so then they become explain how that works. So I buy the coupon for $30. I get to go see you. I get $200 worth of stuff, right, for $30.
Yeah.
And then a portion of that goes to a charity of my choice. Is that right?
The way it works is when you go on local sharing tree or keep on giving coupons, you pick it out, you register, right? When you purchase it, you check out, right? You put in and all the stuff is handed through PayPal, so nobody but PayPal sees your credit card or any of that stuff. It's safe. That's the safest one in the world. So you check out, and then at that time, when you're buying it, let's say it's $30, you pick that school or nonprofit right then.
Okay.
And if you put that in there every time you go to buy one, because you can also download it on your phone and buy things on your phone for restaurants, Red Buffalo's on there. So they have a tasting. Gotcha. I think it's $16 for, I don't know, $30 or $24 worth of stuff. You get flights and this and that. So you're saving some money, but whatever your favorite cause is, money's going back to at the same time.
I gotcha. So it is a win-win situation.
Yeah, I mean, we used to pay a lot of money to put that same advertisement in the paper, let's say, right? As Payne Chiropractic, or on the Yellow Pages or whatever, right? And we don't charge businesses anything, right? Local Sharing Tree doesn't, or keep on giving coupons. They get that for free, so they put it up there, and all they ever do is give. What we do is transfer the discount they give out to donations
And how do they find? And how can they find that? Just Google them to get to the coupons.
Just go to localsharingtree.com or keepongivingcoupons.com, either one.
And then you sign up, and they charge you. Is there like a monthly fee to be a member?
No, there's no fee for anything.
So you could literally log on, buy a coupon of some sort, and then never go back on and buy another thing.
They don't have to, no. But there's always new things. Let's say down at Mooresville, if you're a bowler, the lanes down there, Victory Lanes, used to be George Papa's. They have a $45 coupon you can buy.
Yeah.
And it's worth $90 worth of bowling. 6 people get 2 hours worth of bowling, 1 hour worth of billiards, shoes included, no food.
Right.
But that's pretty good.
That's real good.
I mean, it's half price. So if you're having like a birthday party for your kids or something, you get it for $45, and $4.50 goes back to wherever you're at. So it's no skin off your nose to donate to your school.
Sure.
Because you're spending less rather than buying cookies that are more expensive or nonsense or whatever. They charge you what? 26 times what cookies should really cost at Walmart for cookies, right?
Of course.
But that's the deal. Is the idea was that everybody wins. What I wanted to bring to that is, I saw that thing and I started developing. And it's interesting because it's been a whole lot more work to try and get it going. I thought it would just sort of go all by itself, because I thought, well, certainly people understand this. They'll just do it.
Right.
Everybody thinks, well, no, there must be some kind of catch. Somebody must be. There isn't. There isn't. I'll tell you why there isn't. Because everybody's getting a service. We're putting those businesses in touch, not with just bargain hunters, but in touch with supporters of schools and nonprofits.
Sure.
We're putting those businesses in front of them, and they can offer their services to them at a discount, but they don't have to pay up front. So it's foolproof for a business, right? Number one. Number two, you're saying, hey, I'm a nonprofit. I want to raise money. Well, rather than offering something where your patient or your people got to pay a whole lot of money for stuff, say, hey, just go when you got to go to something, save money here, check out and see what you like, buy whatever you like, whenever you like, but pick us. And that's it. What we do is we create videos and stuff for them too.
Oh, wow.
To let their people know. And we'll create emails that they can send out. We don't send them out. They send them out. So they tell people, hey, go here, do stuff, buy whatever. And it's pretty interesting. It works pretty good.
So when you say we, like, are you a member, or did you create, or
I created it all.
You did?
From scratch, yeah.
Man, you have an entrepreneurial spirit.
It was not easy. I thought it would be easy. It was one of the most difficult things I've ever done in my life.
You
because
have
nobody did it.
A good friend of mine that works for you, Julia Cable.
Julia just started, and Julia's awesome.
And she
just
actually
got a few
She actually
today.
messaged me to give her a shout out on the show.
Give her a shout out, number one.
She knew you were on here,
And
so
she is just telling me that
she's texting you.
she, for anybody who wants to go on there, she's created a promo code, and the promo code is radio5, just the word radio, and then a 5.
Awesome.
It'll get anybody who's registered, and when they register, they'll get $5 free.
Awesome.
When
Good
they
job,
first register.
Julia.
So
Good
it's
job.
no,
Check that out.
it's no cost. Plus, it'll get them on there for $5.
Right.
So they get to try something for free. But there's all kinds of. You were talking about downtown, Red Buffalo, Cafe 220, Yours Truly Boutique. All the downtown restaurants and different businesses are on there. My place, what's the new Italian place across the street from me? I should know the name, but I can't think of it. Yes, Amore. Pasta Amore's on there.
Okay.
And Julie is awesome because she's working really hard to get more nonprofits.
Yeah.
She just today got Dove House that's really going to start pushing it, and Theater
Great
Statesville.
organization,
What we do for those organizations is we'll just help them sell their tickets without taking, without that. So
Yeah.
it's pretty cool. I mean, the way it works, and what we do too for businesses is what we call share and grow.
Uh-huh.
So what they can do as a business is when you're on there, we'll create emails or videos highlighting theirs and other people's deals. Let's say it was Sweet Dreams Mattresses on there down in Mooresville. And
Okay.
we highlighted mine. Well, they'd send it out to all their people. Well, let's say Victory Lanes was on there also, and other ones. So they would get all of the social media and email contacts from them. So they're growing their email, and you know how expensive. I don't know if you've done anything like that, but it's very expensive to try and increase your social media and email footprint, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Do you have any experience with that, Julius? Like trying to do any social media
well,
stuff?
States Vegas Radio, of
Yeah.
course. We have 2 apps that we try to get people to download because that's our power. Is our
Exactly.
how many
much
apps
you
we
can
have
reach.
downloaded.
I mean,
right.
like you were saying, my videos,
Yeah.
because we have 2,000 followers on Facebook, I can put out a video, and if I put out a video about headaches, it'll increase people coming in and saying, well, geez, I'm going to go.
Sure.
Well, imagine if you could do it and you could spread it out to other businesses. And we do all that free. We don't ask them for anything for it. We don't want anything for it. The whole idea is that everybody wins in that thing, and money. The more things that go through local share and tree or keep on giving coupons, the more things that go through it, the more money goes back to schools, nonprofits, whoever, I mean, that's the whole idea.
Right. Well, they're giving back, right?
Exactly.
They're helping out.
And there are no catches. You know what I mean? That's the big thing is people, I think one of the things that's made it the biggest, most difficult hurdles in developing and growing the business was that it seems too good to be true.
Right.
So whenever something seems too good to be true, people go, well, there must be something. There must be something they're going to get.
Yeah, where's the catch?
But there isn't.
I think people are so tarnished or tainted by people trying to do the right thing, or people have been burned so much by like nonprofit organizations. You find out when you get into the numbers of stuff that the money doesn't always go where it's supposed to go. So people are a little apprehensive when you're like, oh yeah, my friend has a nonprofit. I'm like, oh yeah, I want to, and it's like, what's the scam? It's unfortunate that people have taken advantage of what should be and what most of the time is. A lot of people have taken advantage.
Some of the big ones have taken advantage
absolutely.
Of that. I don't disagree with that at least. But again, it's the whole thing of what you do at your business or what you're doing in life and how long is your life, Are you really going to pretend like you're taking money for charity and then give it and steal some from somebody? I mean, how are you going to enjoy that money? That's what I'm asking. You know what I mean? How are you going to sit on a beach and think, well, geez, this didn't go to kids who needed food or something? I mean, for goodness sakes, life's too short not to do it right. But the beauty of this is you can provide a service for all those people and still do it very well. Let's say you have a school with 1,000 students in it, right? And let's say each one of those students each one of those families buys $40 worth of stuff a month. Okay. They go out to dinner once or whatever. On average, they buy $40. So you're talking about $4,000 a month going into that PTO. And we do not donate to the school proper because otherwise he'll just get less money from the government. What we donate is to booster clubs, sports clubs, PTOs in the younger schools. That way the money goes to people that are actually going to make it get used to buy supplies for teachers, buy stuff for classrooms, maybe go on field trips or whatever they're going to do that maybe they couldn't afford. Maybe buy scholarships for kids that couldn't afford to play sports because they can't afford the money or whatever it is.
Right.
I mean, that's the whole idea of what this thing is. But see how easy, if you can get those people doing it, it's a no-brainer because it runs in the background all the time.
Like you said, it seems so simple, but it's been the most difficult thing you've ever done. Like,
I think it is, yeah.
With the States Vegas radio app, I mean, it's literally an app that you go onto your smartphone, you go into the app store and you download it. It's free. It takes 10 seconds, but yet people don't download it.
Yeah.
And it's like, it doesn't get more free than hitting the...
Do you have a video that shows or talks about it or advertises it?
We did earlier on. I think Kevin did a video at one time talking about how to go into your
But that's probably not a bad idea to redo it again.
Yeah, we should.
Redo one. I'll put it on my Facebook page. We'll boost it up there. There you go. We'll get a bunch of folks. My folks.
We have quite a bit, but you would think it would be more because it's free and it's
interesting.
It's local and it's very interesting.
Well, what I was talking about,
I thought the app would really set us apart.
Is Julia needs to come here. We need a booth. Yeah. Maybe not every single week. I mean, we don't want to wear her out. But, I mean, the thing is, at least one Saturday to get some of these folks here because they're going to use it. Because the bottom line is, the reason why we changed, I had this guy come in and he said, one of the reasons why it might not be working is because you're talking about fundraising. People are thinking right away, well, you're talking about fundraising, they're going to ask me for money at some point. And we never do. You always just get a discount. The consumer always just gets stuff for cheaper, right? Okay. It's just like Groupon. So we changed the coupon side to keep on giving coupons, just so you say, hey, it gives you a savings, it gives your whatever a donation, and it's all that way. So people understand that you're just going to save with it as far as a consumer. You're not ever going to be told, hey, you're on this thing, could you please give money to such and such? That's not going to happen. That's not why it's there. It's for people to continue to add businesses to it, offer their businesses, get folks in there to try their businesses.
Yeah, it helps new businesses or even established business get their name out to a new bucket of people that maybe didn't even know they existed.
Not only that, get it out to the same bucket that maybe aren't going to go there that week, but maybe they'll go twice this week because they're going to save a little money.
True.
But as long as these guys are still making money on the other side, that's where people got to understand. They might not be the best, but some of them are great. Like I said, $45 off. Mine's $150 off. Jeez. I mean, some of them are unreal. But some of them also aren't that. They'll say, well, you got one on there that you have a minimum spend. Well, that's to protect that business against people just sort of taking advantage of it.
Sure, of course.
But if this guy's giving you money off and you're going in there, take it.
Take it.
I mean, go see him.
Right.
I mean, like yours truly, they should have a ton of people in there doing it. And they don't. They have such a cool store. You ever been in there?
No, where is it?
Yours truly's right downtown. Oh, you should have that dude in here. He's off in the two. They're awesome.
Yours truly started in a flea market.
Yeah.
They were vendors.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did.
3 years.
Because he was working in a factory or something and did it on the side, and now he's got that whole building fill up. Uggs and fancy like designer stuff. And you go through, and he gets all the overstock from
Zappos
and Nordstrom.
Yeah.
And he sells it at a great discount.
James Sykes.
Yeah.
Isn't that in
They're-
what used to be there?
They're really nice folks. The
Clock
Clock
Works.
World.
The Clock World. Yeah. I love going to that shop. I like looking at the sports
He's
stuff.
got a great
Yeah.
business. He's a good guy too.
They're really nice folks. Both of them are.
Yeah.
James and Sonia.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sonia's
Yeah.
Really nice folks.
Maybe we can hook them up. Have them
Great
come
family.
in.
He had his whole family in here. The kids worked here. His daughters worked at Snack Bar. He still works Freightliner, I think. Actually.
Yeah.
So
He does. Yeah.
He puts in a lot of hours, that guy.
Yeah, you better believe it.
So.
He's a hard worker. But you know what? They got some great stuff. You can go down there and get some Uggs for like $80.
Yeah,
They should have cost like $200.
We miss him. Yeah, he was a big asset for us. But
A big asset, and I'll bet a big draw. A lot of people came, right?
Yeah. All
He
over.
used to sell Sperry's.
Yep, Sperry's, Uggs. He gets all the store returns from Nordstrom. He actually
And Zappos.
has a huge online business.
Yeah.
That's really the biggest part of his business.
Yeah.
He operates that through that building, but then he does retail downstairs.
The building is filled.
Yeah.
The whole
Really?
building, 3 stories all the way up.
Yeah,
filled
he
with
tried to
stuff.
fill up this one.
Really?
He wanted more and more space, but of course we worked with him on it. But we were more than happy when he decided to go out on his own.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
Good guy.
He's
Hey
a
man,
good folks.
he too has an entrepreneur spirit.
That's
He's
right.
trying to
He did
to create something
He
good
does.
for him, man. Isn't it good to see the stories that people trying,
Yep.
Yeah.
putting their neck out there and
Well, it just
Oh,
goes
yeah.
to show you, a little booth in a flea market, can go a
Yep.
long way.
It was just his thought one day, It's interesting. Very interesting.
Well, Jeff, I appreciate you coming on, and again, for folks who have not been as a patient of yours, how can they find you?
Go to local sharing tree. Get yourself a discount, right? $30 you're coming in your first visit is awesome, right? I mean,
Right.
go to our Facebook page. There's a link there.
Okay.
Just give us a call. You got headaches or back pain or something like that, we'll do our best for you. And if it isn't that's wrong with you, we'll send you somebody else. I mean, I got no problem with that. We'll make sure you get in the right spot.
Cool. Perfect. Well, thank you for coming on. I
Thanks for having
appreciate
me.
it. And thank you to States Vegas Radio for letting us host another show. Thank you to States Vegas Clothing Company for providing me with all of my T-shirts this season. And to Dustin McCurry Law. Thank you to kasey.tate at Farm Bureau Insurance. And to our newest sponsor, Black Flag Holster Company. Thank you, guys. If you want some T-shirts, you can go check out the website. We have new T-shirts. Well, there's a few left. We've actually sold quite a few. So check those out. And we'll talk to you guys again soon. Thanks.